Hi, this is Trevor Conquergood. Welcome to this week's RNK Software Club's video of the week. And this week, I'd like to show you how to use the optimization tools. There's three of them. We've got our sequence, entry and exit, and color sort tools. And essentially, these are tools that can be very handy to use when you're creating embroidery. And so I'm going to start out by just clicking on my basic shape tool and create a rectangle. Just click and drag. Maybe we'll also create an ellipse. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and create a triangle. And so we've got three basic shapes on our screen right now. They can be any size, any shape, doesn't matter. But right now, they're just artwork. And so if you want to convert them into embroidery, perhaps what I could do is just click on all items and standard fill down at the bottom. And so that will convert all of my shapes into embroidery stitches. Now, what we can learn about is how to plan the entry and exit points to make them the most logical. And when you're looking at your embroidery in 3D view, you won't see any jump stitches. They'll be hidden. So if you take this oval and you put it, over here, you don't really see any dotted line in between. But when you turn off the 3D, it allows you to see a dotted line that represents the path the machine takes. And so when it finishes sewing the rectangle, because the way this is going to stitch out is the way that we created it, right? The rectangle was first, then the ellipse was second, then the triangle is third, unless you, of course, take control of that sequence with the sequence tool over here, and you can make whichever element you want to sew first, second, or third. But when once that's determined, it will sew to the end of this rectangle and then jump to the beginning of the oval. Now, you can see the dotted line represents that sort of path. And if I use the shape tool, so I'm going to change from my select tool to my shape tool, the red square or red dot here represents the exit point of this rectangle. And the green represents where it starts sewing. And so if I click on the ellipse, you'll see that it starts sewing over here and it finishes sewing over there. If I move this green starting point to, let's say, here and hit enter, that will update the path of the thread traveling to it. And so similarly, if I move the exit point over here and hit enter, so you can see where these control where that shape begins and finishes sewing. So one of the tools we have is called optimize entry and exit. And the idea is if you make embroidery that's like side by side like this, rather than finishing your square there and jumping over to start your oval here, you might want to set the ending point of one and the entry point of the other to be in the closest place in between. And so the closest to do that, you can you could do it manually, or you can select both objects, and this is the tool, optimize entry exit. So notice when I click on that, it'll automatically make it so that the exit point of the rectangle, if we look at the shape tool, is set right there. And then similarly, the entry point of the oval was moved to match it. And so that's a tool called optimize entry exit. And so if you've created embroidery and you've got three different embroidery elements and they all come kind of close to each other in some place like this, all you need to do is select all items and ask optimize entry exit, and it will update the design so that they all have the closest point connections to each other to kind of connect to each other. The next one, so notice there's an option called sequence. And right now the sequence of this is like the rectangle, then the ellipse, and then the triangle. Now, let's just say that you, how do I explain this? So the sequence tool always starts with whatever is first in the selection group. And so right now, what it does is it will organize things. Let me do this. I'm going to take the oval and put it over here and the triangle and put that one, let's say, right there. I'll make the triangle kind of below that. And so you can see now where the jumps are all out of place because it stitches the rectangle, then jumps to the oval, and then jumps to the triangle. But yet, if we could do the rectangle, then the triangle, then the circle, the software could optimize. Because notice right now, if I try and select all three and use optimize entry exit, it finds the closest point to join from the rectangle to the circle, and then the closest point to join from the circle to the triangle. So what I'm trying to say is, if the sequence was different so that it went rectangle, then triangle, then circle, it would do the rectangle to connect to the triangle to connect to the circle. So closest point, the triangle is closer. So the way it works is you select those three items and then you use optimize sequence. And that will actually arrange, and notice now that in the sequence view it says rectangle, then triangle, then ellipse. And now I could click on the optimize entry exit tool and it would find the entry and exit for those three items put together. And so just to kind of show that again, the software will work based upon whatever is first in your sort of sequence view. So example is I will make a rectangle, and then I will make a triangle second, and then I will make a ellipse third. And the thing of it is, the sequence is the way I made it. Rectangle, then triangle, and then ellipse. And so if you embroider all three of those and you create embroidery from them, it will show rectangle, jump to the triangle, jump to the ellipse. And you can use optimize entry and exit, and that will help it find the best places to connect from the triangle to the oval. But if you wanted it to show, let's say, from the rectangle to the oval to the triangle, that's when you can use this sequence tool. And that will move and basically find that we can go, rectangle, then oval, then triangle. And after using that, then you can use the optimize entry and exits, and it'll find the closest points to join between those. And so those are two of, I guess, the three different optimization tools we have. The other one's called color sort. And color sort, well, basically, if you take, let's just have one set of these, and let's do different colors, right? So why don't we make one of them red one, and we'll make another one of them be some other color, doesn't matter, green or something like that. And then, so now we have three colors. And if we select this and copy it, and then copy it, we have really just three colors in our design, but our sewing sequence is getting out of control with the number of stops. And if we watch the design sew out, it sews pink, then green, then blue, and then pink, then green, and then blue again and again. So this color sort is the idea that the software can say, well, if you select all of these items and click on color sort, it will look through the design and say, I just reduced your design by 6 colors. And the way that it did that was it grouped all of the first color together and then stitched all of the second color and stitched all of the third. And so if you have a design that you're duplicating in your embroidery, that can be kind of really an awesome tool to have. You made 5 flowers, 5 copies of the same flower, and you don't want to sew pink 5 times. You just want to sew it all once. The color sort tool features in some of the other tools. So just as an example, if I select this tool or those 3 colors there and then use the corner layout. So now it takes those 3 shapes and it repeats them around a corner, and you can decide kind of at what angle those 3 things go together, but it's kind of fun. You can just basically dance the little shapes around the circle until you find the right arrangement that you like. And finally, you're like, I like it like that. Notice the option here for auto resequence by color. So as long as I leave that checked off, it will combine all 4 of these pinks with all 4 of those blues and et cetera, et cetera. If I uncheck this, I will get each corner 1, 2, 3, then the next corner 1, 2, 3, and the next corner 1, 2, 3. So it's actually an option. There are good reasons when you may want to use this and not use this. But the idea is if it's checked off, when you create those new things, it will combine all of those colors together. Now, it doesn't automatically combine them with the previous colors that were already in your design. That said, all you got to do is click on the color sort tool again, and it will do it again. And now all of your pink sews at one time, and all of the green, and all of the blue. And so I hope that you found those tools interesting. If you didn't already know about them, they're very handy. And when you're modifying your embroidery designs, they may come in just exactly what you need. So until next week, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so very much for listening, and bye for now.